I want you to close your eyes for a second.
Okay.
Imagine you are standing in front of a fireplace. It's late at night. The house is dead quiet, and the only light in the room is coming from the flames.
Setting the scene.
Right. And in your hands, you're holding a stack of papers. But these aren't just, random notes or a grocery list.
They're important.
Very. They are pages and pages of a memoir you've been writing in secret. They contain the raw, completely unfiltered truth of your childhood.
The really painful stuff.
Exactly. The most humiliating secrets you have ever kept. The things you've never told your spouse or your best friend or your kids.
The moments where you felt small.
Yeah.
Where you felt dirty. Where you were absolutely convinced that you didn't matter to anyone.
Yes, all of that. And you throw them into the fire.
Just toss them in.
You watch the paper curl, turn black, and crumble into ash. You watch the ink just disappear, and you think, finally, it's gone.
The evidence is destroyed.
Right. No one will ever know who I really was.
But then you walk away from the fire and you realize something terrifying.
The paper is gone, but the heavy feeling in your chest, it hasn't moved an inch.
The shame didn't burn.
The shame didn't burn. And that is exactly what happened to Charles Dickens.
This isn't just a hypothetical scenario for our listeners.
No, this is real history. He tried to burn the evidence of his childhood trauma, specifically the time he spent working in a rat-infested blacking factory.
Where he felt completely invisible.
Yeah.
And disposable.
He physically burned the pages of his own autobiography because he couldn't bear the thought of anyone knowing he was once, I think he called it a laboring hind.
Yeah, laboring hind.
So when the relief didn't come, he realized he couldn't just destroy the shame. So he did the only other thing a writer knows how to do.
He hid it.
He hid it.
He took that raw, burning shame and buried it deep inside a story. He encoded it into a novel that most of us think we know, but very few of us truly understand.
David Copperfield.
Exactly.
So, welcome back to the deep dive. I want to be very clear right off the top for everyone listening. Today, we are not doing a book review.
Definitely not.
If you're expecting a dry high school English class summary of a Victorian classic, you are in the wrong place. We are conducting an investigation.
We are cracking a code today.
We are exploring the idea that David Copperfield isn't just a fictional biography. It is a set of instructions. It's a survival guide.
Dickens buried a code in these pages on how to escape the things that have been chasing you since childhood.
Specifically, the feeling that you might not be worth keeping.
Right. And looking at the research we've pulled together, we have quite the roadmap for this deep dive.
We really do. We're going to look at 3 very specific images that define this transformation. If you can understand these 3 things, you understand the code.
First, the warehouse floor.
The place that almost crushed him.
Second, the writing desk.
The place where he decides who gets to tell the story.
And third, the storm.
The force that judges everyone. The good, the bad, and the golden.
Keep those 3 images in mind. By the end, you'll see why they matter to your life, not just his.
And we really need to start with the mission statement of the book itself. The opening line is famous, but I think most people miss the actual weight of it because the language is a bit archaic.
Yeah, it starts with a question. Not a scene, but a question.
Whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life.
Right. Whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life. In modern terms, we throw around phrases like main character energy all the time.
Oh yeah, it's a hashtag, it's a whole vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Dickens is asking something much deeper and honestly much darker here. He is asking, is it actually possible to take control of a life that feels entirely controlled by other people?
It's about agency.
Yes. Can you stop being the victim in your own story? Because looking at the summary of the first few chapters, trying to be the hero of your own life comes with a serious cost.
In a world obsessed with main character energy, this is the original story of what it costs to actually live that way. And spoiler alert,
Most people can't pay the price.
they really can't. To understand that cost, we have to look at how this story was told. Remember, this wasn't published as a single big book initially.
It came out in monthly parts. It was serialized.
Like a slow drip streaming series where you have to wait a month for the next episode.
Precisely. The entire country was waiting for the next installment. People were debating the characters, guessing the twists.
Mourning the deaths.
Right, it was a massive shared cultural event. But for Dickens, it was a high-wire act. He was writing a fictionalized version of his own trauma, selling it to the public, piece by piece, wondering if he could rewrite his own history into something that had a happy ending.
So let's get into that history. Let's start at the very beginning of David's life. Or actually, let's start with the first betrayal.
The birth.
Because David is born into a situation that is, wh- it's complicated.
He is born fatherless. His father died 6 months before he was born. His mother, Clara, is very young, very beautiful, and completely terrified.
She is essentially a child raising a child.
And then on the night of the birth, in bursts this absolute force of nature, Miss Betsy Trotwood.
David's father's aunt.
She is eccentric, she is formidable, and she has a very specific plan. She has decided that Clara is going to have a girl.
A girl that Miss Betsy intends to raise.
Yes, to be strong, independent, and completely free from the foolishness of men. She is essentially trying to correct the mistakes of the world through this one unborn baby.
It's almost like she's trying to fix her own trauma through the next generation before the baby even takes a breath.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's intergenerational projection. She's saying, I will save this child from the pain I went through. But to do that, the child has to be a girl.
She even has a name picked out.
Betsy Trotwood Copperfield.
And then the doctor comes out and says, it's a boy.
And this is the first lesson in conditional love. Miss Betsy doesn't say, oh, well, a healthy baby is a blessing.
She doesn't ask to hold him.
She literally turns on her heel, puts on her bonnet, storms out of the house, and vanishes.
She ghosts a newborn.
She ghosts a newborn baby. It is the foundational wound of the story. The world tells David, right from his first breath, you are not what we wanted.
You only matter if you fit the mold we built for you.
David failed to be a niece, so he was worth nothing to her.
I think so many people listening can relate to that feeling, even without the dramatic aunt storming out.
Absolutely.
That sense of, I have to mold myself to fit what my parents want or what my partner wants or what my job wants.
Yeah.
And if I simply exist as myself, I'm a disappointment.
Every time you've hidden parts of yourself to be accepted, you're living this exact scene. It's the sensation that love is a transaction, and you are failing to hold up your end of the bargain just by being who you are.
But the story doesn't stay in that coldness. Dickens gives us a contrast almost immediately.
He is at the boathouse.
The boathouse. I was reading the description of this place, and I have to say, purely from a real estate perspective, it sounds horrific.
It really does.
But David loves it.
So David has a nurse, Peggotty, who is just pure, unadulterated devotion. She takes him to visit her family in Yarmouth, and they live in this structure.
It's an old ship, right?
An old ship dragged up onto the beach, turned upside down, and converted into a house.
Which sounds objectively like garbage. It's a wreck.
It is wreckage. By Victorian standards of respectability, it is a hovel. It smells like crab and seaweed and tar. It's cramped.
But to David,
it is the safest, most magical place on earth.
Why? Why does the garbage house feel better than his actual home?
Because the boathouse represents love without condition. It's a weird space. It shouldn't work. It's literally rotting on a beach. But inside, it's inhabited by a weird family.
Mr. Peggotty, his niece, little Emily, his nephew Ham.
Right. They aren't a traditional nuclear family. They are a collection of broken pieces holding each other up. They're a chosen family.
That is such a powerful idea for anyone listening. The place that saves you is never the fancy one.
It's a weird one.
The one that shouldn't exist but does anyway because someone decided love matters more than looking normal.
Exactly. Think about your own life. You probably have a boathouse in your past, too. Who are the people or where are the places that actually felt like safety?
It's usually not the pristine living room where you're afraid to touch the coasters.
It's the messy apartment of the friend who lets you sleep on the couch. It's the people who had nothing but gave you everything. It's built on love, not on looking normal.
Built on love, not on looking normal. It's interesting because David's actual home is about to become the exact opposite of that.
It's about to become all about looking normal and having zero love.
Because the safety can't last. We have to introduce the villains, and boy, do we have some villains in this story.
Enter the Murdstones.
The Murdstones. Even the name sounds heavy, doesn't it? Murdstone. Murder and stone.
It's incredibly evocative. So back home, David's mother, Clara, meets a new man while David is away at the boathouse. Mr. Edward Murdstone.
He is handsome. He is wealthy.
And he is obsessed with one word.
Firmness.
Firmness. It sounds like something a corporate CEO would say about a restructuring plan.
It really does. To the outside world, Murdstone looks like a catch. He is self-controlled. He is respectable. But to David, there is something cold behind his charm.
He sees it immediately. But Clara wants to be taken care of. She falls for the charm. And once Murdstone wins her heart and marries her, the dynamic shifts instantly.
He and his sister, Jane Murdstone, take over the house.
They literally take the keys, they lock up the books, they ban the toys, they enforce rigid discipline. It is a hostile takeover of a childhood.
And what's so insidious is how they justify it.
Right. They don't say, we hate this kid.
No, that would be too honest. They say, we are helping him. We are building character.
This is the moment where control, disguised as care, enters David's life. It is gaslighting in its purest form. Murdstone convinces Clara that she is too weak, that David is too spoiled, and that he, Murdstone, is the only one who knows what is best.
It's a dynamic so many people recognize. If you've ever watched someone you love choose the new partner over you.
Or if you've been that partner demanding someone prove their loyalty by cutting off their past.
You're watching the Murdstone playbook.
The tragedy is, Clara chooses Murdstone's rules over David's comfort. She is too afraid to stand up to him. This leads to the inevitable explosion.
Murdstone sets David impossible tasks, impossible lessons.
He deliberately sets the boy up to fail. And when David fails because he is a terrified child, Murdstone takes him upstairs to beat him.
He strikes the boy, and David fights back.
He bites Murdstone's hand.
Which, honestly, good for him.
You would think so. But in psychology, we have a term for this: reactive abuse.
Reactive abuse. Break that down for us.
It's when a victim is pushed and pushed and pushed until they finally snap and lash out. They scream, hit, or in this case, bite. And immediately the abuser points at them and says, see, look how crazy you are. Look how violent you are. I'm the victim here.
That is terrifyingly accurate. It shifts the narrative instantly.
Completely. Murdstone doesn't say, I was beating a child. He says this child is a savage. And the punishment for that bite is exile.
He is sent away to Salem House, a boarding school.
But before he goes, he has to wear a sign on his back. A wooden placard.
Take care of him. He bites.
Imagine the shame of that. Walking through a school, a new environment, with a sign on your back declaring you to be dangerous.
Declaring you to be the problem.
It's public branding. It tells the world, this person is defective.
That burns. If you have ever been labeled the problem in a family or a class or a workplace, if you've ever been the target of blame,
you can feel the burn of that sign. You don't need a physical placard to know what that weight feels like.
So David is at Salem House, labeled a biter. But school isn't just about punishment, it's also where he learns about how the world works.
Specifically, how the world works for men. He meets two boys who will mark his life. They represent the two paths available to him.
The archetypes of success. We have James Steerforth and Tommy Traddles.
Let's start with Steerforth, because David is completely enamored with Steerforth.
He really is. Steerforth is the golden boy.
He is older, aristocratic, dazzling. Success just comes easily to him. Doors open without effort.
He's the influencer.
He is the influencer. He is the natural talent, that the algorithm of life just rewards him for existing because he's pretty and privileged.
And David, who feels small and powerless, looks at Steerforth and thinks, that is what a hero looks like.
David blinds himself to Steerforth's cruelty because he wants to bask in his light.
And then there's Traddles.
Poor Tommy Traddles. Traddles is the opposite. He is poor, often punished, but somehow always cheerful.
He's the grinder.
He is. He works twice as hard for half the recognition. While Steerforth is gliding, Traddles is climbing in the dark.
And Dickens is setting this up beautifully, isn't he?
He is showing us two models. The one that looks like success, Steerforth, and the one that looks like struggle, Traddles.
He's foreshadowing what success actually looks like in the long run. We are so obsessed with the Steerforths today, the people who make it look effortless.
But Dickens is playing the long game here. He's warning us.
So, school ends abruptly. Tragedy strikes again. David's mother dies. Her new baby dies too.
And this is where the bottom falls out completely.
The Murdstones decide that without Clara, David is no longer worth the investment.
There is no point in spending money on his education. He is an unwanted burden. So, at the age of 10, he is sent to London.
To the warehouse.
The warehouse.
This is the part of the deep dive where we need to slow down. Because this is the fire and the ash we talked about in the intro. This is the real trauma.
Yes. In the book, it's a wine warehouse, Murdstone and Grinby. David's job is to rinse out empty bottles, stick labels on them, and cork them.
It sounds tedious, but maybe not necessarily tragic to modern ears. Plenty of kids have rough jobs. Why is this so devastating?
You have to understand the depth of the shame. This isn't a summer job. The warehouse smells of rot. His hands are always stained. The cellar is overrun with rats.
And he loses his name.
He is just called Boy. He is completely invisible in this busy city. But the core wound, the thing Dickens is really writing about here, is the disposability.
You weren't worth keeping.
Exactly. His stepfather sent him there to rot. No one is coming to save him. He realizes, I could disappear, and no one would notice.
That is the specific pain Dickens tried to burn in that fireplace.
It sits there, true and terrible, regardless of any future success he has. David spends his entire life running from this exact feeling, asking, am I worthy of being chosen?
And during this time, he's lodging with Mr. Micawber.
Endlessly optimistic Mr. Micawber.
Always in debt, always saying, something will turn up.
It's funny to read, but it's terrifying for a child. David has no stability at work, no stability at home. He is totally adrift.
So he runs.
He hits a breaking point and decides he cannot stay in the warehouse. He runs away to find Miss Betsy Trotwood in Dover.
The woman who stormed out at his birth. It's a desperate move.
It is, and the journey is brutal. He is robbed, he is hungry, he is ragged, exhausted. By the time he gets to Dover, he is essentially a little vagabond.
And this leads to the moment, the Betsy Trotwood moment.
He collapses in her garden. She looks at this wreck of a child. She has every right in her mind to tell him to go away.
But she doesn't.
She chooses him, not out of duty, but out of this fierce, eccentric love. And she chases away the Murdstones when they come looking for him.
She tells them they forfeit their rights by their cruelty.
It is a phenomenal scene.
And then she renames him.
She calls him Trot, a new name for a new life.
That is the theme right there. Every great story has a rescue moment where someone decides you are worth fighting for.
Exactly. Sometimes, to survive, you have to allow yourself to be renamed by the people who actually love you.
So Trot gets a fresh start. He goes to school in Canterbury. And here, we meet the ultimate villain.
We meet the Wickfields and their clerk, Uriah Heep.
Just saying the name Uriah Heep makes me uncomfortable.
As it should.
Describe his persona for us.
He is always saying how humble he is.
Humble, but dropping the H.
Yes. He never raises his voice. He's always apologizing.
But it's a trap.
It is weaponized pity. This is the section on our roadmap about weaponized victimhood.
Yeah.
Good people want to help the powerless.
Right. If someone is constantly putting themselves down, your instinct is to lift them up.
And while you feel sorry for him, he takes notes on your weaknesses. He enables Mr. Wickfield's alcoholism while pretending to help him.
This is toxic humility.
It is a modern epidemic. Think of the coworker or friend who just needs support but slowly takes over your life or your project.
And when you confront them, Heep makes you feel like the bully.
Why are you being cruel to poor, humble Uriah? He is a predator disguised as a victim.
And his threat is real. He plans to take over the firm and marry Agnes, Wickfield's daughter. David sees it but feels powerless to stop it because Heep is so deeply embedded.
You can't attack a humble person without looking like a monster yourself. That's his shield.
While Heep is plotting, David is growing up, and he falls in love.
This brings us to the illusions of love. He falls for Doris Spenlow.
The fantasy.
She's pretty, delicate, childlike.
And from a psychological standpoint, why does he choose her?
Because of the warehouse. He feels he needs to prove himself to someone who is out of reach, rather than accept steady, normal love. He chooses the shiny, distant ideal over reality.
So they get married.
And it is functionally disastrous. Dora cannot manage a house. She cries at bills.
It is an Instagram-worthy marriage, but behind the scenes, it's falling apart.
David learns the intense cost of loving a fantasy. It simply doesn't survive reality.
Meanwhile, Agnes Wickfield is right there.
The reality. The good angel. She is steady, clear, supportive.
David relies on her for everything, but cannot see her as a romantic partner yet.
It's his blind spot. He undervalues the person who actually shows up for him.
But the fantasy is about to collapse, and so is everything else. We are heading into the storm.
Let's go back to the golden boy, Steerforth.
Steerforth visits Yarmouth with David. He goes to the boathouse.
And he commits his great crime. He runs away with little Emily, Mr. Peggotty's niece, who is engaged to Ham.
What is his motive? Does he love her?
No, he doesn't love her. He's bored. She is a novelty to him.
That is the lesson of the golden boy. They don't destroy you out of hate. They destroy you because they don't think about you at all.
They don't even consider the collateral damage.
But the response to this tragedy is incredible. Mr. Peggotty goes to search the world for Emily.
He refuses to abandon her. He focuses only on rescue, not disgrace.
And Ham remains heartbroken but completely noble.
While this is happening, the Uriah Heep situation reaches its boiling point.
Mr. Micawber, who has been working for Heep, collects the receipts.
Micawber exposes the forgeries and the theft. in front of everyone.
And the mask drops.
Heep stops being humble immediately. He screams, "I'm as good as you."
The insight here is brilliant. Villains like Heep always underestimate the people they view as beneath them. He thought Micawber was a fool.
And that arrogance was his downfall.
So Heep is exposed, but the ultimate judgment is coming, the literal storm.
A massive storm hits Yarmouth. A ship is wrecked off the coast.
Ham swims out to save a stranger clinging to the mast.
The tragedy is Ham dies trying to save this man.
And the reveal. The body that washes ashore is Steerforth.
It is a devastating scene.
The symbolism is so heavy here. The man who had everything, Steerforth, dies taking.
And the man who had nothing, Ham, dies giving.
The storm is the great leveler. It doesn't care about your charm, your influencer status, or your wealth. It judges everyone the same.
It strips away all the illusions.
In the aftermath of all this, Dora dies. The death of the fantasy. David travels abroad, grieving literally everything.
And this is where he finds the final image from our roadmap.
The writing desk.
David begins to write his story.
The desk is the opposite of the warehouse.
Exactly. In the warehouse, you are nameless. You are an object. At the desk, you name yourself. You decide the narrative.
He processes his trauma into art. He rewrites his story.
And the resolution brings everything together. He realizes Agnes was the love he needed all along.
A marriage of equals, not a projection of a fantasy. He feared he missed his chance, but she waited for him.
And what happens to the others? The Micawbers and Peggities emigrate to Australia.
Which carries its own lesson. Sometimes you have to leave the environment where the trauma happened to break the cycle.
You can't heal in the place that broke you.
And Traddles, the grinder.
He becomes a successful lawyer and judge. The quiet grinder wins in the end. While Steerforth sank beneath the waves, Traddles built a real life.
Which brings us back to the final code. The question from the very first page. Whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life.
The answer is yes.
But not by being a conqueror.
No, by taking responsibility for the narrative. He integrated the warehouse, the shame, and all his mistakes into a coherent story.
So we leave you with this call to action. Reiterate the choice. You can burn the pages, silence the shame, pretend it didn't happen.
Or you can pick up the pen. You can claim your agency.
Dickens turned child labor and deep humiliation into an absolute masterpiece. What are you turning your damage into?
Look the past in the face and say, you don't own me anymore.
Whatever you're running from, this is how you stop. Because the story that almost ends your life to tell is the only one worth telling. What is your warehouse?
Who is your Uriah Heep?
Think about it. We will be back soon with more codes hidden in the classics. Until then, take control of your story.
Thanks for listening.